You ever have someone treat you like you were less than human? Like your effort didn't matter, your struggle didn't matter, and all they saw was weakness? Well, imagine carrying that humiliation for years, and then one day you get to watch the person who mocked you collapse in front of everyone, gasping, sweating, and finally realizing exactly who they underestimated. That's what happened to me. And I didn't need fists or shouting or revenge fueled by rage. All I needed was a bicycle. If you've ever dreamed of watching karma finally roll downhill straight into someone who truly deserved it, hit that like button, because this story, this one's gonna feel good. When I was born, the doctors told my parents I had a congenital heart defect. I had surgery when I was a kid, and while I grew up healthy, I was never the athletic type. You know, the kid who gets picked last in gym class? Yeah, that was me. Skinny, clumsy, constantly running out of breath. Most teachers treated me kindly, or at least with patience. But my high school PE teacher, let's just call him Coach Brad, wasn't one of those teachers. He was a stereotypical sports guy, loud voice, whistle always around his neck, the kind of man who thought toughness came from humiliation. Every class, he'd joke about the nerds and the weaklings. The jocks loved him for it, of course. They laughed, slapped each other on the back, and joined in. I'll never forget the day he made my overweight friend try to vault over a stool using a trampoline. The poor guy barely made it halfway before falling hard and cracking his head. Coach Brad just shrugged and said, "Guess that's what happens when you skip leg day." That's who he was, a man who believed embarrassment was a form of motivation. I used to dread his class. Every week, it was basketball, football, or something else explosive. The kind of exercise that sent my heart rate skyrocketing and left me dizzy. I'd have to stop, sit down, and try to breathe. And every time, he'd blow his whistle and yell something like, "You taking a nap or are you part of this class?" The laughter from my classmates stung worse than the shortness of breath. But you know what's strange? I never hated sports. I loved movement, the rhythm of effort, the quiet focus of pacing yourself. I just wasn't built for sprints or tackles. What I did have was endurance. If I found my rhythm and stayed under my red line, I could keep going forever. That realization changed everything. Because one summer, flipping through channels, I stumbled upon the Tour de France, and it was like the world opened up. The cyclists weren't just athletes, they were machines of patience and control. I fell in love with the idea of conquering mountains, not by power, but by persistence. So I saved every bit of allowance, bought a used road bike, and started riding. Every weekend, every spare afternoon, alone. My parents thought it was a hobby. My classmates had no clue. But the truth? I was training. I was getting stronger in silence. And that's what made what came next so perfect. It was spring. Senior year, the school had organized a sports day, basically a day of outdoor activities and forced fun. This year, we were hiking a local mountain. The plan was simple. Everyone would take the bus to the base, hike to the summit, and then have a picnic. But then Coach Brad made an announcement that changed everything. He said, "If anyone wants to be a real athlete, I'll be cycling up instead of taking the bus. And you want to feel brave enough to join me?" Of course, the room went quiet. And then I raised my hand. You could see the smirk widen. "You sure, champ? I don't want to have to stop and wait for you every 10 minutes. The class laughed. Even I chuckled a little because if only he knew. He had no idea that I'd ridden that exact climb over 100 times, that I knew every curve, every gradient, every place where the wind hit hardest, that I'd spent years preparing for something like this. For context, the climb was 12.5 kilometers long, about a 7% average gradient. To anyone who's never cycled, that's a grind, but to me, that mountain was home. The day of the ride, I treated it like the Tour de France. I woke up early, ate my breakfast perfectly timed for energy, did my warm-up laps, stretched. When I showed up at school, I wasn't in gym clothes. I was in full cycling gear. Helmet, shoes, jersey, everything. I'll never forget the look on his face when I rolled up with my road bike. "Whoa," he said. "Someone came to play dress up." He was on a heavy mountain bike, clearly not used to endurance climbs. Still, he looked confident. "You ready to keep up?" he asked. I just smiled. "You?" We started rolling. The first 10 kilometers were flat, nothing challenging. He set a fast pace, trying to test me, and for a while he probably thought he was winning. But I knew the climb hadn't even started yet. I stayed on his wheel, calm, controlled, letting him waste energy pushing the wind. When we reached the base of the mountain, I could hear his breathing change. Shorter, heavier. Meanwhile, I was just getting comfortable. The slope began and immediately he started grinding his gears, trying to maintain speed. His cadence dropped, his shoulders rocked. That's when I knew I had him. Still, I didn't attack. Not yet. Because revenge, real revenge, isn't about speed. It's about control. I eased up beside him, pretending to struggle. "This is tough," I said between breaths. "You think the class will be impressed if I beat you to the top?" He gave a weak laugh. "Kid, you'll be lucky if you even finish." Oh, coach. So I started increasing the pace, just a little bit. Not enough to drop him, but enough to make him hurt. I could see it in the way his face tightened and the way his arms shook on the handlebars. Sweat poured down his temples. Every time he looks like he might break, I'd ease off, let him catch a few breaths. Then I'd push again. A little faster, a little steeper. I wasn't racing him. I was dissecting him. The mountain got quieter as we climbed. No cars, no talking, just the sound of his gears grinding and my steady breathing. At one point, he muttered, "How are you still going?" I just smiled and said, "Endurance, coach. It's all about pacing." By the time we reached the last kilometer, he was done. His face was red, his shirt soaked through. I could tell he was fighting nausea. That's when I decided to end it. I stood up on the pedals and sprinted, what cyclists call an attack. He tried to follow for maybe 5 seconds, then he cracked, completely. When I looked back, he was 100 meters behind, wobbling, mouth open. I reached the top alone, heart steady, calm, victorious. He arrived a few minutes later, pale as paper, got off his bike, stumbled to the parking lot, and vomited hard. A few classmates who'd taken the bus saw it happen. The whisper spread fast. Coach Brad, the man who mocked the weak kids, who humiliated anyone who couldn't keep up, had just been destroyed by the scrawny kid with the bad heart. He sat down on a bench, drenched in sweat, completely silent. I sat next to him quietly, sipping from my water bottle. He didn't look at me, didn't say a word. And honestly, that silence was the most satisfying sound I'd ever heard. He didn't join the hike that day. He couldn't. He was too exhausted. And me, I didn't have to either. He'd promised that anyone who cycled up could skip it. So we just sat there, 2 people at the top of a mountain, both realizing something important. For me, it was that patience, not power, is the real strength. For him, it was that maybe the kids he used to mock weren't so weak after all. After that day, Coach Brat never made fun of me again. No comments, no jokes, nothing. It was like the mountain had burned that part of him away. Sometimes revenge doesn't come with fireworks or shouting. Sometimes it comes with quiet satisfaction, with the sound of heavy breathing and the click of a bike gear as you rise above the person who once looked down on you. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying moment of karma you've ever seen? And remember, stay kind, stay humble, because you never know who's been training for your downfall.